Hello again. Well, yesterday we put the renovateur on these shoes, and I'll just give them a quick brush up just to roughen up the surface a little bit, ready for the next stage. Even that gives them a little shine, you see. Now they're looking nice already. The next thing we do is we use cream polish. This is the cream polish. It's another sapphire thing. Light brown I'm using on these. They are a medium brown, but this won't matter. And this restores some of the pigmentation as well to the leather of the shoe, which we've removed a little bit of when we strip them. So just a little bit of this nice cream polish on there. Just use little circles, make sure you cover every bit. It's another quite a fragrant, pleasant smell. Some people only use cream polish on their shoes, and it does the job if you're not wearing them out in the snow or in wet weather. I like to use wax as well. It's important to do that in the right order, of course. If you put wax before you put the cream polish on, then you won't get such a shine, and the wax stops the cream polish being able to penetrate the leather quite as well. So it's important to get things done in the correct order. So that's another thing that you learn from polishing shoes, is working methodically and doing things in the correct order, just as I'm doing here. And we allow this to soak in nicely. I shall give it 2 coats, but between each coat a little buffing with the brush. It's all good for the leather, is this stuff. Makes it last longer. It's a very pleasant way of spending time. Some people like to put music on while they do it. Others leave their minds to work in silence. It's whatever you want, really. I used to like the radio on. I used to do all my children's shoes ready for school in the morning on a Sunday night, and I'd line them all up. All shining beautifully. fridge. Now that's had a little chance to soak in. Just buff it again. See how it gets into the holes, the broguing there, and the brush just takes that out. That would be perfectly acceptable to walk down the street. But if it was a rainy day or a snowy day, you'd find yourself doing them again very quickly. Like these brushes, you can get a good grip on them. I find with a brush like this, they tend to jump out of your hands if you haven't got a really good grip on them. And the older I get, the less power I find I've got in my hands. So something like this is ideal. You can wrap your fingers around it and tend not to lose it. Anyway, there we go, that's the first coat. Of course, one's never enough, so we'll give it another go. You see I've put plenty of this on, and it really, I've probably put too much on, but it doesn't matter. You're just nourishing the leather, and what doesn't soak in brushes off, so it's not really a bad thing that I'm doing. One of the things that is sadly lacking today tends to be the concept of respect, and I've never been one to give respect freely and for nothing. People tend to have to earn that from me. It's not that it doesn't come naturally, but there are so many institutions and individuals that are not worthy of respect. What's happened is that in life there is a failure to respect anything, which is growing, and it's very sad. Even with a job like this shoe is made of leather, and that was once a living creature. In fact, the dozen or so pieces of leather that have been used in this pair of shoes, it might have been more than one living creature. But that living creature didn't know it was giving its life to become a pair of shoes. But by looking after your shoes, by the care and attention that you give to this leather, you're honouring the life of that creature. It had no choice in it, and by looking after your shoes and making them last longer, a little part of you is preventing a ridiculous number of animals going to their deaths to make shoes. We don't just throw them away when they're worn out. We have them mended. We look after them. We care for them. Another place where respect becomes due is the craftsmen that made these shoes. These weren't made by machine. These were hand stitched and put together by a man who really, or more than one person, who knew what they were doing. Maybe a guy or a woman who'd been doing this job for 20, 30, 40 years has put these shoes together. So by looking after them, by caring and showing that you care for them, you're showing respect to the craftsman, woman who built these shoes. If you spent a long time making something and you gave it to someone or sold it to them, you wouldn't really want to see it, whatever it was, whether it was a pair of shoes or a garden gate, you wouldn't want to see it abused, you wouldn't want to see it neglected and allowed to go to rack and ruin. So with your shoes, that's another reason. And the respect that you're subliminally showing isn't just for the creature that the shoe is made out of, or the craftsman that put it together. It's the environment in which you wear your shoes. I wouldn't probably wear these for a wedding. I've got black ones that I'd wear for that, but imagine turning up at somebody's celebration or for an interview for a job wearing a pair of down at heel scruffy shoes. It often costs people, or it used to years ago, it would cost somebody a job that they turn up for the interview and they take one look at the shoes and think, well, you can't be bothered to look after yourself, you're not going to look after whatever it is that we do make or sell in this institution. So that element of respect and self-respect goes a long way. So there you go. Now these have had several treatments so far. We've stripped the polish from them, the old polish. We've polished the soles. We've added cream polish, well, renovateur first, and then cream polish, 2 coats of each. And now we're going to leave it another 12, maybe 20 hours. We'll come back tomorrow and do the next application, and I'll show you what that is tomorrow. Thanks for watching. Bye bye.